Hey folks, evening. So this has been a pretty cool evening. Last week, Jewel Small Space Gardening, Jamie over there kind of set up a kind of a stacking of channels, and they did it again this week. And again, I haven't been able to communicate with them this week, but hopefully we can. I'll touch base with Jules this week. But this has been awesome. So, MB Heritage, they started out at 6:15. I think most of the folks in here were on there. They started out at 6:15, chatting about their breeding program for some of their chickens. Pretty cool. And Jules Small Space Gardening at 6:30. Jules chatted about growing corn, kind of toured his garden, which is always just amazing given that it's December and he's in North Carolina. I don't have a thing in my garden. I'm in Florida, tropical weather. So always very, very impressive. And then at 6:45, Voon Child, also up in North Carolina, took us on a walk around of a festival up in her area in North Carolina. Just really, really, really cool. Enjoyed it. Enjoyed all three of them, and that kind of brought us up to 7 o'clock for our live. So I came out a little bit early. And you're probably wondering, where in the world are you? It's kind of like, where's Waldo? Where in the world is Waldo? So about Lala got out of here about 4:30. I'm in Jacksonville. I'm at my office in Jacksonville, which is about 45 miles from my house in Glen St. Mary. About 4:30, it just started getting completely black outside. So we knew that it was going to rain, but I had no clue that it was going to rain like it did. It came down in buckets, and it rained for about an hour and a half. So before it stopped raining, it was already about 6:15, and there's just no way that I would have gotten home before I wouldn't have been able to attend any of MB Heritage or Jewel Small Space Gardening or Voon Child's videos, and I would have probably gotten home even prior to the 7 o'clock live. So that's where I'm at. I'm in Jacksonville at my office, sitting in my conference room, chatting with you from here. So Rick's going to be coming on in a second. Tonight, we are expecting to have on here Sonnie's Place, Emma from that channel. Not sure if you are familiar with Sonnie's Place. I've been watching her for probably a year and a half, not regularly. It's just very difficult. We've talked about this in the past. It's real tough for me to kind of catch any one channel, every one of their videos. I got to make a living. So a lot of it, my schedule is really, really hectic. I do the best we can. But I catch them, from time to time. I came on a little bit early, Rick, because no particular reason, just because.
It's all right. I have a whole bunch of children with me.
Well, you got visitors in here today.
I have a Patrick right there. I have a Rick there, and a Madeline there.
So, Madeline, why are you wearing a toga?
I'm not. It's a blanket.
You got to over your head so people can see you.
She's in Florida. It's like 70 degrees outside. I don't know why you're wearing a blanket.
Because Floridians always have the air conditioner going. It's either the AC or the heater. That's the only two things it is.
Was it raining out there?
Oh, it was bad.
It was bad. Really, really bad.
Yeah.
Where are you, Papa?
I'm at my office. I couldn't leave because it was raining so hard, and I didn't think I would get home in time. So I'm going to introduce everybody in about a minute. I want to make sure we get some folks in here before we kind of officially call out some folks. Paula Wells is in here, so hopefully Paula can catch most people's that's in here and send out links. She is phenomenal as one of our moderators. We've got a few moderators. I think Nisi is in here as well. MB Heritage is in here. They are moderators for us as well. But just can't say enough about, kind of how appreciative I am of MB Heritage, Jules, and Voon for kind of putting this Wednesday together, kind of leading up to our 7 o'clock live. So if you have not checked out those 3 channels, MB Heritage Farms, Jules Small Space Gardening, and Voon Child, very different channels, each one of them. So, they all 3 do gardening, but MB Heritage also they do a lot about chickens. And I would consider Michael to be a chicken expert, a chicken guru, and as well as a garden guru. Jules does a lot. Michael also does some art with MB Heritage, and then Jules also is a musician. And you just never know what Jules is going to be doing. They do a lot of cooking. And then on Voon's channel, she does a lot of cooking, but she does keto oriented cooking. So just 3 very good channels, 3 very different types of content with a common thread attached by gardening. So go check them out. If you have not subscribed, please do so. You will not be disappointed. So tonight we have Emma from Sonnie's place in here, and she is in the green room waiting. So she can hear us because she just smiled big. We're going to bring her in a bit. I wanted to kind of introduce folks that are in here. So we've already talked about Jules Small Space Gardening down under Fulla. That is Brad from our friends down in Australia. Elizabeth Slate.
I'm gonna let my kids say hello to everybody so I can kick them out of the room.
Okay.
No.
Say hello.
Hi. Hi.
All right, now get out.
I'm the miniature one, not him.
Elizabeth Slate. Tina Ladybug, welcome. Christy Betts. Paula Wells, Ginger Ninja. I think Ginger Ninja, your Tumblr went out, I think, on Monday of this week. It was a little later than we expected, but it did go out, so you should be getting that anytime now. Farm and HVAC. Organic gardening in North Carolina. Welcome. I think this might be the first time that you guys are in here. If it's not, I apologize, but I think it is. Michael Keener, our good buddy over in the Panhandle of Florida. That's Michael K. Voon Child, Nisi with Free Handly Made. MB Heritage, I think I said them already. I think I got everybody. Michael Harris, my buddy over in Texas. Celtic Roots Farm, welcome. Not sure if that's Jay or Cheryl, but welcome. Alicia Hall. How are you, Alicia? Good to see you.
I haven't seen you in a while, Alicia. How are you? I heard you drug Ed out to a craft show with your daughter the other day. That was pretty funny. He was telling me.
Mad Acre Farms is on here. This is Mad Acre Farm is a newer channel. They reached out to us last week. They were on our live and kind of gave us a little bit of background on their history. So today I responded to them, trying to invite them onto a future live so we can get to know them. Mountain Maple Ranch. Welcome, Mountain Maple Ranch. I think this is the first time you have been in here. Boy, we got a bunch of folks in here. I think that's it. If not, please F&P Farms and Crazy Ed's Homestead. I think and Brenda Baker. I just got Brenda Baker as well. So welcome everybody. This is awesome. So we got 22 people sitting in here right now. Tonight is gonna be a blast. We've got Sonnie's place, Emma, and we're going to be chatting with her, kind of what motivated her. And always, whenever we bring guests on, I before you came into the green room, Emma, I kind of confessed to everybody I've been following your channel and this is usually a common thread probably a year and a half or so, but there's just no way that I can get to every channel and look at every video. So I kind of look at them sporadically. If something really piques me, a lot of times I'm kind of listening while I'm driving. I'm not even watching. I'm just listening to them and I can't comment. But many ways, but I have been connected with you for some time. But I always go back prior to folks coming on and spend some time watching videos to learn a little more about what makes them tick and kind of formulate some questions, some ideas, and just general kind of my thoughts. So that's what we're going to talk about. I don't like a structured live stream. They just kind of, we used to do it that way, and I always felt they just kind of dragged on. And so we kind of went to this format where it's just really open-ended, and we chat and just laugh and have fun. So, and then Rick's got we do a live, or I do a giveaway each week. And Rick is coming up, he's created a new way to do that. And I think you'll find that fun.
But you guys are going to have to stick around. You guys are going to have to stick around for several. I'm gonna bring Emma in. So everybody, here's Emma. And so,
here's Emma. You got the air horns. All right.
Yep.
Be a party tonight.
This is why you need to stick around. One, Dad, like he had already said, I'm sure he doesn't have his wall of Navy and military stuff behind him. Is in a not so well lit room. And he doesn't have like a really super, you're good, Dad. Don't look up. You're fine. He also doesn't have a super good microphone. He's on his Surface, which I know you guys can't do this, find relative, the size, but it's like half the size, maybe a quarter of the size of his regular one screen of his regular computer. And he has 4 of those going at one time during a live.
Oh, wow.
And he's now having to do all of this on one Surface.
Yeah, it's literally about 12 inches corner to corner, but that's what I travel with.
Wow.
So, and then two, the reason why you guys are going to want to stick around for the entire live is because I'm not going to take all credit, because I listen to a talk show every day between 12 and 3. I'm not going to throw out a name or anything. I'm sure some of you guys, because he is now national, he does this thing called What the Bleep. And I absolutely love listening to this. And so we're going to play our giveaway tonight is going to be based off of his kind of talk radio show and the way he does his giveaways. And so we're going to play What the Bleep. It should be pretty fun. There's going to be 2 giveaways. I got 2 separate videos, but they are also cut directly out of Emma's videos.
Oh,
so
no.
It is Emma who we are playing What the Bleep off of her video.
So Emma, you're on here. We're introducing you, and you're getting some airtime. And we're driving people over there. So to answer your question, Brad, I mean, the folks that came in here maybe a little bit late, you're wondering, where in the world am I at? I am sitting in my office in Jacksonville, 45 minutes away from home, because about 4:30, the bottom just fell out of the clouds and it rained. I couldn't even see across my parking lot for probably an hour and a half. And by the time it stopped, there's just no way I could have got from here to home and made it. So I'm doing it on my little Surface computer at my conference table at my office. So that's where I'm at. So no, Brad, Rick did not put me in the bad boy room as a punishment, as he's alluding, not in the naughty room. So, all right. Well, Emma, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We have watched. I have watched several of your live streams. Rick, I can't find where that comment is to take it down, so you're going to have to do that.
I got it. Because you're on
I've watched several of your lives, and you really kind of I didn't see any in the more recent ones, unless I just missed them. You know, some of the ones that you've done in the past was carving videos, which I thought was just really fascinating. She just sits there and talks and carves stuff like spoons and things, and just really, really neat. So tell us about yourself.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you kind of mentioned some of it in the description, but yeah. So my name's Emma. Grew up in Southern California, so born and raised.
What does
Married
that
a
mean?
Missouri boy. Sorry,
Like San Diego or LA?
Orange County, actually, right in the middle, right
Okay.
between
So
LA
you're like
and,
a city
and San
girl
Diego.
then. You're a
Yeah.
city girl then.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
totally.
I may have heard this incorrectly. Did you say foreign raised?
Born and raised.
Oh, I thought you said foreign, because California is quite foreign in comparison to Florida. So,
Well, you could say that too, because I'm actually first generation American. My parents came from Mexico, so.
my wife is too. Not first generation, but she could, from what she's told me, she could get like grants and stuff like that. So that's pretty coal.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Grew up over there. My husband is actually from Missouri. So when we got married, we're ready to start a family. We decided to kind of settle down here, and we actually lived in cities really for for the first part of our marriage. And then he actually grew up on a farm and wanted to move out on some land and have some space. And it took 10 years for him to talk me into it. And so here we are.
So
I'm glad we did it.
that's a funny comment, because we had Celtic Roots Farm on here last week. So I'll start it like that. Whose idea was it for you to homestead?
To homestead, it was mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he wanted to move to the country, and you wanted to just. How did that evolve?
Yeah, he wanted to move to the country to have space to breathe. And so he's
Okay.
kind of an introvert, doesn't like to be in the city, doesn't like neighbors being right on top of him. And so, yeah, he just wanted some space. So we moved out here, and we've got 11 acres, plenty of room for him to do that. And I decided that we've got space, so I want some chickens and I want a garden.
All right. So you moved out there for neighbor insulation, and then you decided, you want more than that. So you want to, were you aiming towards self-sufficiency and kind of growing your own food? How did you go from being, a city girl to saying, I think I'm going to have chickens and ducks?
Actually, it happened, I guess, when I became a mom. I became more aware of what I'm feeding my family. So, yeah, I wanted a little more control over where that food was coming from, and wanted to know exactly what was going into it. And yeah, so, and I love to cook, so I wanted to know exactly what I was preparing, and feel good about what I was putting on the table.
So when I was watching your videos, and I just never really paid attention to this, you pronounced the name of your channel Sonnie's Place.
Yeah.
How many people get that right when they're saying the name of your channel? Why is it Sonnie's Place versus Sonnie's Place?
Actually, what's funny is when we decided to name the channel that, we knew right off the bat that most people would mispronounce it. And that's okay. Like, it doesn't bother me. So we actually named our channel after my husband's grandfather. So so my husband actually grew up on a farm, on a traditional farm, 400 acres down in the boot heel of Missouri. And his name was Sonnie. And so, yeah. And so this was kind of an homage to him, and kind of continuing on that, not necessarily traditional farming tradition, but, living off the land and, trying to do something more meaningful.
Well, that's very cool. I mean, it's not, ever since I found your channel, I've always referred to it as just Sonnie's Place. Even when, if I'm glad that when we were doing the announcements and the thumbnails and all that stuff, I wasn't doing that verbally, because I would have botched it every single time I said your channel name. But when I was preparing for this, I kind of heard you refer to it as Sonnie's, and I just never paid attention to that in the past. So that's cool.
Yeah, and it's okay. I mean, like I said, it doesn't bother us, and we kind of knew that would happen. I don't have that excuse, so I have to pronounce it properly.
So one of your videos, and this was one that's from a while ago, it starts off with you showing a picture of your father on
Yeah.
the beach. And the name of that video is When Homesteaders, um,
Yeah.
I'm trying to read that right. When homesteading is hard, why you need to keep going. And it's
Yeah.
really an incredible video. And I just sat there and I'm kind of watching it, kind of like I was watching the Thriller at the movies, and I wasn't even twitching a muscle, just watching you as you kind of go through, how your kind of philosophy, it sounds almost like toward life and
Mhm.
and not quitting and not giving up kind of started with that picture. So tell us about that picture and how that influenced you.
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, I'm first generation American. My parents migrated to Southern California from Mexico in the early 70s. And they didn't have a high school education. They worked the fields, and then eventually moved into factory jobs. And my mom at the time, my dad always kind of had a good job. He was always pretty secure in terms of like what he was going to be doing. But my mom wanted more. And so she actually had to fight my dad a little bit in letting her go to night school and get her GED, and then get her accounting degree at night school. And so she was able to move from, working in fields and factories into, working in an office and having benefits and,
But that's
being
kind of
able
it
to be a
sounds like
salaried employee as opposed to, just the hourly jobs that most immigrants settle for.
is
I
that kind of a
know.
cultural,
I know
is that kind of a
discussing.
cultural thing?
Sorry?
Is that kind of a cultural thing where your dad really wanted to kind of, sounds like wanted to be the breadwinner and really kind of was resistant to have your mother not be the homemaker?
Yeah, that's a pretty common thing in at least in Latin American cultures. Yeah, there's a
Okay, I
there,
know.
the term is called machismo, where the men kind of control things. And my dad, very early on, they were young, and so my dad kind of had those same ideas or ideology when they were when the first years of their marriage.
Yeah, I know. Speaking with Ed, or not Ed, speaking with Pat, my father-in-law, in the past, that was that. It's not isolated to maybe one tribe. It's pretty much across the board. American
Yeah,
Indians in general,
yeah,
are it's like that in all of them. The men kind of called shots, and
yeah,
so yeah, I could definitely see where your mother would have to do some convincing for sure.
yeah. Well,
So
and both of them, they're both really stubborn, and my mom is definitely probably more than my dad, and
my
so she
wife
was going to
is
do it
really stubborn
regardless.
too. My wife is really stubborn. She doesn't
But
watch
yeah,
these lives, so it's okay.
yeah. No, they so from very early on they kind of taught us to fight for what you want and to work hard at it. So and they faced some challenges. And so you talked about that picture of my dad. Um, most immigrants, most people that came from their background, uh, they don't get to retire. And so, yeah, so that picture had a lot of meaning. Sorry.
No, I get it. There's my family will tell you. I mean, there's certain things that just push buttons in us, and it's those things that you're
Mhm.
close to. And I used to
Yeah.
do, when we first started doing lives every week, we would do kind of a tribute to, fallen service members or first responders. And I don't think I
Yeah.
ever did one of them. I don't think I ever got through one, and probably 10 or 12 of them that I didn't start tearing up. And
Mhm.
so yeah, I get that, but I could tell, how heartfelt in that whole video, how heartfelt that was. And, the message was, things are going to be hard,
Mhm.
but you can't give up. If it's something that you really truly believe in, you just keep
Yeah.
going despite it being tough. And
Yeah.
that's a lesson that I think a lot of Americans don't get taught, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of Americans that have cushy jobs probably and haven't
Mhm.
really had to fight for much. Yeah. Yeah.
I grew up in a very, and when I tell people this, they very rarely ever believe me, because it's kind of unbelievable, that, it was, I grew up in a very, very humble household. Neither one of my parents graduated from high school.
Mhm.
And I did not really have a stake until I went into the military, into the Navy. I'd never had one before, because it was
He did. It
always,
just wasn't. He did. It just wasn't a real steak. It'd be like
it was
chop
just
steak on beef steak.
the cheapest cuts of meat. I mean, we had hamburgers and stuff like that and chicken, but a lot of what we ate, we caught, we shot,
Yeah.
a lot of deer, squirrel, rabbit, and tons and tons and tons of fish that we caught, because there just wasn't a whole lot of money to raise 3 kids.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
that's an awesome
Yeah,
story.
we ate
Thank
at
you.
home a lot. We ate at home a lot, and people that I knew were eating out and, enjoying that. And we didn't really get to do that much.
Right. All right. So it's apparent that you like birds, whether that bird be ducks or chickens. Um, what kind of ducks do you have? You got a lot of ducks. And why do you have ducks?
Yeah, so I have black Swedish, blue Swedish, a Pekin, an unintentional Pekin, and a Indian runner.
I would never, I would never, I've always, so people probably hear me say pekin, and they probably say, that idiot don't even know what he's talking about. So is that how you say it,
It's
is peckin?
probably Pekin, yeah.
I don't know how you say it.
I don't either, so.
This is what Papa heard whenever you just told him all those duck names. That's literally it. That's it. That's all he had. All that duck stuff just went. So go ahead and explain the different kinds of ducks, and I mean, because I've heard of duck eggs, and I really would love to have duck eggs, because I hear they're like super creamy in comparison to, say, regular chicken eggs.
Yeah.
Or I guess, I mean, their duck eggs are still regular chicken eggs, but they're not like, you know what I mean? Anyway, so, but like duck eggs, the difference is they're a little bit bigger. They're also a little harder shell, and
Yep.
they're also a lot creamier. And I've seen the amount of yolk and the amount of egg that you get out of a duck egg and a chicken. There's a big difference.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They definitely
It
are
lays.
bigger. Yeah.
I'm assuming that all ducks don't lay the same amount of eggs, correct?
No, not all of them do. I actually chose the black and blue Swedish ducks because they're too heavy bodied to fly, so they're not going to fly over our fence if they get
Mhm.
startled. And they're also good domesticated layers. And you asked why I got them in the first place. So one of my daughters loves to bake. And so duck eggs are actually ideal for baking because of their
Really?
creaminess. And so, so she used to use them all the time for baking.
All right, time out. So for like baking cakes and things is what you're.
Yep.
Okay, all right, I'm with you. All right. I was
Yeah.
like, I've never heard of a baked egg, so I'm all right. Now, point of clarification.
Well, anything that you can do with a chicken egg, you can do with a duck egg.
Huh. Very cool. How many are they comparable in terms of numbers of eggs?
Yeah, I mean, actually the ducks, the Swedish ducks actually are pretty good layers. They'll lay routinely. So they actually don't molt, or mine don't molt and haven't. So they'll still continue to lay unless they get scared. We've had a couple, well, we had a predator attack, and so they didn't lay for about a week or two. And then you also have to make sure that they've got good nutrition. But aside from that, like they're going to lay eggs. I have ducks laying eggs right now, and my chickens stopped. So
Now, I mean, like, so for instance, chickens, you'll see 265 or 250 or 250 or something like that. I mean, do you know that number for, say, a duck?
Not off the top of my head, but yeah, that is, you can find that information out there.
Is it like, I mean, is it every other day or something like that? Or is it every day?
I've got two of well, I had two. I have one right now that's laying every day. And then the other two that are, I only have three that are laying age, and the other two are every once in a while. But yeah, one of them is pretty regular.
So what she's saying, Dad, is we need to go ahead and get ducks for two reasons. One reason is because you get duck eggs, and they're really good for baking. And
they are.
My wife loves baking.
Or bacon. See, that's the difference between how you say that, Emma, and how a Southerner says that. Is you say baking, my son says bacon. So
I mean, she did say she was from California.
But you say bacon, not baking. Big difference.
There's a silent G.
Well, see, there's baking and then there's bacon. I love bacon.
Well, no. You got bacon. You got bacon, which is like, pork. And then you got, she's going to be bacon. I know it sounds the same, but it's not.
Bacon.
It's not the same.
It's
bacon. A few years
anyway,
ago.
And then the second reason why we need a duck, Dad, is because, Chelsea loves big birds.
No,
Chelsea would love to have a duck.
So here's about two. So you just stole my thunder. So 2 years ago or so, my daughter-in-law, who we knew Rick and his wife and his family were moving to the farm, which they did last year. And I had mentioned the possibility of getting some ducks and a goose. And there was an outright revolt from Rick's wife about either of those. I mean, she is just now 5 years in getting used to being around chickens. She is terrified of birds, or was, I should say. She's gotten tremendously better. But yeah, that's the reason we don't have ducks, is because of Rick's wife. I would love to get a goose, because I hear they're really good at protecting, and they will chase my Great Dane around, and that would just be funny.
Yeah,
I've heard that too. It also chase Chelsea around, and that would be funny.
Yeah.
The
downside to the ducks, I will tell you, is they're very messy. They love to play in the mud and will make little holes in anywhere that they can dig their bills into. And although it's really adorable to watch them do it, but and they're loud. They also, if I can say this on the live, they also have projectile poops, which are kind of funny.
Well, that might be what Jake's talking about. Ducks are the nastiest farm animal. So in a previous post, he said free ducks here.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I don't disagree with them.
So I just thought it would be, we've got a pond in our on the front half of the property, and I thought it would be cool to have just a few geese that we've got a Great Dane, and she is like the alpha of our domestic dog pack. So we've got a Great Dane, a boxer, and a black lab. The black lab's a big baby. The boxer's afraid of everything, but the Great Dane even tries to control our livestock guardian dog, which never goes well for her, but she doesn't stop doing it. And I just think it would be really funny to watch our Great Dane be chased by a goose, because from what I've heard, they just don't stop. So that would be our alpha dog control mechanism would be a gigantic mean goose. But then Rick's right, it would probably chase his wife too, and then we'd have to get rid of it. So
Yeah, they can be kind of jerks, but I've thought about it too, but I just don't want geese. I am going to add turkeys next year too, our as meat. I'm going to raise
Yeah,
them
I'm
for
down.
meat.
I'm down for turkeys.
Yeah.
So
I
there's a
think
whole
is
lot. There's a big variance in opinions here. So Jake is saying they're the nastiest animals. Mulberry Branch Farm says we love our ducks, and then Jay and Cheryl say we got rid of all our ducks. So
Yeah.
there's no
Well,
consensus here.
Jay also said that I think it was where was it? The khaki Campbells are more prolific egg layers. I just liked the black Swedish ducks. I think they're prettier uh, than the khaki Campbells. But yeah, Ashley, I think from Mulberry Branch, they have Muscovy ducks that are more like chickens, so they're not quite as loud.
Now
So
with chickens, you can use the. I mean, now granted, it's very 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 hot, so it's good to compost it. But with duck poop, I'm assuming it's also like a really really hot fertilizer or hot poop. But you could go ahead and you could mix that with compost and it serve up pretty
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah, although it's not like I said earlier, their poop is kind of projectile, so it's not going to be like solid. So I just make sure to clean out their bedding and toss that into the compost, and I'll let that compost for about 6 months at a minimum.
Gotcha.
Rick at Twilk Acres, I would have paid to have seen that video. That would be funny. I was chased by a goose once. I did see the warning sign on the fence, but thought it was a joke. That would
Yeah,
have been funny.
I guess some people don't know that geese can be really grumpy. They're really protective. Yeah.
So you mentioned Muscovy or however you say that ducks, and we've got them the where my office is. We have dozens of those ducks that just live everywhere around this complex, and about once a year, they just come up missing. So I think the landlord, they pre-produce the entire year, and then once a year the landlord comes in and clears them all out, but they can't get all of them. So they go from population probably 100 down to 10 overnight.
Oh, wow.
Don't know what happens to them.
Huh.
Well, I found out the one that was in the pond up front was actually a Muscovy duck.
Sorry, my
So,
phone is
and the
ringing.
cool thing about if I'm not incorrect, like because I thought that they were, I thought that it would just like disappear. Like at first, I thought it might have been a turtle because every so often you'd see it was a very small duck, or bird, waterfowl, but you'd see this thing that looked like a duck, but it could have been a turtle, and then it would just go away, and then you wouldn't see it. Well, then I found out that they literally will go under the water and then swim to the bank and hide in the reeds. And I was like, okay, so he would just disappear in the middle of nowhere.
So Sonnie, or I'm sorry, Emma, tell us what. So you came from the city. Your husband wanted kind of neighbor insulation. You decided you wanted to kind of be more self-sufficient in homestead. What motivated you to start one day? You just woke up in the morning and say, "I'm going to start a YouTube channel today." How did that come about?
Yeah. Oh man, that's a great question. So I actually had met a few. I'd been thinking about it actually for a little while, and ended up going to the Baker Creek Spring Planting Festival down in Mansfield, Missouri, back in 2019. And when I was down there, I was kind of excited to get to meet Jess and Maya, obviously, because they were going to be there. But I ended up also meeting a couple of other folks that got me really thinking seriously about doing it. And that was Natalie from Hey, It's a Good Life, and Stacy from Doug and Stacy. And so after talking to them, and then even just like walking around the festival a little bit, and then getting to meet all of those people got me to thinking really seriously about it. But afterwards, I'm on YouTube, just like everybody else. We watch all these videos of people raising animals, growing food. And I noticed that there weren't very many women that were building and doing things themselves. And a lot of them are relying on their husbands or their spouses, their significant others, to do a lot of the heavy lifting in the building. And, I like to build things. I actually learned how to use tools back in college and, love learning. And so I just decided, this is what I want to do. And if I'm going to start a channel, I want to be an example, positive example to other women, and hopefully, motivate them and maybe inspire them to get out and do stuff themselves. And also ended up meeting Dahlia from Welcome to Chickenlandia. And so found out that she's actually Guatemalan, and had been talking to her for a little bit too. And we realized that there also wasn't a lot of representation in terms of, Hispanics and people of color homesteading on YouTube. And so, not that there aren't, and I'm not like big on like, all of that kind of stuff. I'm not a liberal, but at the same time, I notice when somebody doesn't look like me, and if I can be an inspiration to other people that do look like me, even better. And so that's one of the reasons I decided to do this.
Well, that's one of the cool things on your channel that I've kind of noticed. I mean, here's how it goes down when something's, we were joking last week when we had Celtic Roots Farm on here, that my to-do list never gets shorter than like this long, because as I complete a task, something gets added back to the top of it by Lala. Not that she doesn't, she is incredibly self-sufficient and does a lot. She does a lot of the chores, but a lot of the building and maintenance and those kinds of things kind of get passed on to me.
Yeah.
When I'm watching your channel, it's like there was a video that you did recently where you had a predator break into your chicken coop. Okay. And I'm like, well, I wonder if they're going to fix that. So next thing I know, it's like you got your DeWalt drill out there, drilling in screws and attaching boards and fixing holes. And I'm like, go girl, that's cool. So
yeah. And that was the other thing. So in my most recent, actually my recent video from this week, kind of touched on that a little bit, because I see that question a lot, like in the groups on Facebook, where, a lot of the ladies are asking, how do I get my husband or my partner to like get more involved and to help me build things? And, I basically took that video to say, you just do it yourself. And if they want to help you, they'll help you. But, I don't have any like expectations of Matt coming out to help me and to build things for me. I'm not going to wait on him to build something for me. He's got his own things he wants to do. And for him right now, that's like, making knives in the forge. And he loves that. And he's absolutely passionate about that. I'm not going to take that away from him or take that time that he has to do that away from him. So,
well,
yeah,
I will.
That's kind of how we do things.
No, I admire that, because I was watching the one where you're doing your repair work out there, and then you go into, I guess it was your husband's workshop, and I got to be honest with you, I really had forge envy for very quickly, and I'm like, boy, I would love to do that, but that's like, down the road. I watch Down Under Farm and Forge. I think I saw Darren on here a little bit earlier.
Yep.
I watch a lot of Darren's videos when he's out and he's forging items, and that's just a really cool thing. But that's cool that you can divide your labor like that, because that was something that when Lala and I first started our place, I knew I wanted chickens. She wanted goats. Goats have never really been an important thing for me, although I want to help her, and if we're going to do it, then I'm pretty insistent on we will never have a pet livestock on our farm. That was my rule.
Yeah.
We haven't stuck to it, by the way.
You ain't
4 years
kidding.
later. We have violated that rule with a rabbit. We violated
Several
that
times.
with Blue Baby. That rule has kind of gone out the door. But it's like at 95%. So
Yeah.
we got the goats. We worked together to get the goats so that they're not they're a resource that makes us money. And we've got a video, hopefully it'll come out in the next week, talking about raising goats. We had 2 cull animals this year that we had processed. And, I looked at it from 2 different directions. One, we took these 2 animals from our breeding program that weren't meeting our expectations. We had them processed. And, after all of the feed is considered and the processing fee, we made about $800 on those 2 animals. Now, if we look at it just from the perspective of how much we got in terms of meat, it ended up costing us about $3 a pound for that goat meat. But so we accomplished both things. She does 95% of the goat work. Just like you're describing. I mean, when I think in your video you said I got my chickens, and I started doing the chores, and now we are 5 years later, I think you said. I'm still doing those chores. Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of what we do with the goats. And I do my thing, she does her thing, and when we need help, we ask each other, and she'll tell you that is her happy place, and I don't invade that, and I respect the
Yeah, and I have because I talked to Terry from MT Homestead, because she had talked about that and how her and Mike share those responsibilities. But and that's great, that there are couples that will do that together. But animals, raising chickens, the ducks, growing food, that's just not Matt's thing, and he's not passionate about it. I'm not gonna force him or try and will him out there, and especially if he doesn't enjoy it. And so that's not my job, to try and tell him this is why you should enjoy this and you should do it for me.
Right. Well, that's
Gotcha. Let's do a giveaway.
Where did you get all these sound effects from? This is new.
I can't tell you how to do it.
You've had too much spare time on your hands this week.
I did. Well, I didn't have spare time this week. I was sick Monday. So that I started Monday out of boredom. And then I got off early today, so I was able to throw this together. But it's pretty cool. I wish, hey Dad, say something that's not right.
Not right.
Is it daytime right now?
No.
Say yes.
Yes.
I have more. You just got to say what. It has to tickle my fancy. All right. So anyway, again,
you have one with the sad horns.
No. I will. I will next time.
Oh.
All right. So again, at the very beginning, I told you guys to kind of wait until towards the end of the live stream, because we're going to do this new game that I am kind of adopting. I don't know if it'll stick around. I don't know if we'll do it multiple times, but it's called What the Bleep. And so that was kind of the thing on the thumbnail this week. But it is I'm going to give you guys 2 videos, one at a time, and then I am going to watch the comment section very closely, and the first one to pick what the word was in the bleep is the winner. All right, so you do have to kind of be a little bit fast on typing. What, Dad?
We're only doing one giveaway, but are we doing the first one as kind of an example?
We can do the first one. We can do the first one as a gentleman's bet or a lady's bet. So we're going to do the first one as a gentleman's bet, and the second one.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Bragging rights.
Oh, all right.
All right. So the first one, I'll just feel bad that we didn't give them anything, and then I'll blame it on you because you said you wanted to do an example. So, all right. So here goes the first This is the
Well, you're
first
not the
clip.
one paying for the giveaways.
That's besides the point. Watch the clip.
Today is the day that we get to put all of our dicks together. All of our dicks in a row, as you would say.
I was talking. Play it over. I'll shut up.
All right. So again, here's the clip. In the comments, write down what it should have.
Today is the day that we get to put all of our dicks together. All of our dicks in a row, as you would say.
All right. So
Elizabeth Slade, she gets bragging rights.
Yep, Mulberry Branch
Brenda Starr,
Farm.
Mulberry Branch.
Yeah, if Ashley didn't get that right, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Mulberry
now,
Branch Farm. So
now Mulberry, listen. I would love to give you something, but we can't because Dad wanted to use that as an example. So
Ashley is really good with these giveaways. She won last week too. So she's got to have a high typing speed. It's all there is to it.
Yeah, she's on it.
yeah. All right. So this is
Today's the day that we get to put all of our ducks together. All of our ducks in a row, as you would say. I love that you used my cheesy pun.
yes. All right. So again,
So
good
here's
job,
the giveaway.
Mulberry.
The giveaway is for a shirt. Your choice of size, color, and design. You got to go to the Teespring store, which is on our About page. Go there, look at the shirts, send me an email to the email address that's on the About page. Size, color, design, and your address so I can actually send it to you in an email.
I like
Not
down
any-
on the fella. He says, "What the duck?"
Yeah. Well,
Here we go. He says, "What the?"
Well, here. So,
What the
as soon
quack?
as you come up with the rules, Brad starts complaining. Remember, us international people have a 10-second delay. Well, wah, wah, wah.
All right. So here is the one that takes the whole prize.
Oh, geez.
All right, this
All
is the
right,
winner.
here we go.
When we first started our chicken flock, I started with 12 buff Warpingtons, and one of them being a beautiful, awesome named Teddy.
All right, who's gonna take it? All right, we'll listen to it one more
When we
time.
first started our chicken flock, I started with 12 buff Warpingtons, and one of them being a beautiful, awesome named Teddy.
And Ginger Ninja. Ginger Ninja. Good
When
job.
we first started our chicken flock, I started with 12 buff Warpingtons, and one of them being a beautiful, awesome rooster named Teddy.
There you go. That was fun.
So Ginger
All right.
Ninja has the shirt. So she's getting the entire scope of our merch here, or not even merch. That's just more of the swag, because she got the tumbler a couple of weeks ago. Lala just sent that out to her Monday. So congratulations. So
Wow,
that's awesome.
loading up on the swag. Nice.
So very
Well,
cool.
Evan,
Very cool.
this has been an absolute blast talking with you. So
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. You guys are fun.
even though you're like way over on the weird side of the country over there in
No, she's
California.
in Missouri. She's in
Oh,
Missouri.
I'm not. I'm in the middle. I'm right in the middle now.
Oh, you're in the middle now. Okay, all right. I missed that part.
Yeah, I'm not on the left.
Even though you're from over in the weird part of the country. But no, it's been an absolute blast. It's always fun to talk to like-minded people who have a real sense of, work hard, play
Hold on.
hard.
Hold on, we've got somebody that's contesting the results. Randy Smith
no.
says I was first, but misspelled it. I'm not.
Well, I mean, if you misspelled it, you misspelled it.
Well,
No,
on my chat, Ginger Ninja's first, but yeah. They said roster.
All right. So
Anyway,
the official ruling is we're going to have consensus. Who's the winner between the three of us?
it's Ginger Ninja.
All right. So I am sorry, Randy Smith, but the committee has spoken. We
But Randy
do give
Smith,
away.
listen. So Randy Smith, I am giving you a personal invitation tonight. You're the only one getting this because I'm not giving this invitation to anybody else. I want you to come back next Wednesday for the next What the Bleep.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to give that to you except me. So,
Yeah,
oh
everybody.
my,
So
it
everybody's
was
answers,
but
like chats, will have people in different orders. So it's
Real
just
Man Cook says Real Man Cook says I declare a mistrial.
But again, Emma, thank you very, very, very much. Like I said, just hanging out with like-minded people, talking to them, it's always an absolute blast. So,
oh yeah, it totally is.
if you guys haven't checked out Emma at Sonnie's place, definitely go over there and check them out. Paula, if you could drop that real quick. I don't know if I think Paula's still in here. Yep, there she is. If you could drop that link, check out Sonnie's place and give her a big old thumbs up on a whole bunch of her videos. The guy that leaves us thumbs downs, if you could go over there and not leave her thumbs downs, we'd appreciate that. But subscribe to her channel, show her some love.
So if I get some thumbs down, it'll be because of you guys.
It's just that one guy.
That's
it's just
all right.
that one guy, and then it's weird because once you upload the video, he takes the thumbs down back. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know who he is, but I like him. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
But again, thank you, Emma. We do appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Really had a good time. Yeah.
All right.
Very good.
We'll see you. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
So
this is go ahead, Rick.
Hold on. So what was it? Saturday or Sunday I did that live, Dad?
Sunday.
I think it was Sunday. So Sunday, me and Chelsea and Lala and Nene was also out there. We were doing some stuff with the goats. And I ended up doing I was like, you know what, spare of the moment kind of deal. I decided to go ahead and throw up a live really quick, just kind of spare the moment thing. And we had about 10 or 15 people in there. And it was the cool thing about that was Lala and Papa have put Wi-Fi boosters on their end of the property. And so it literally shoots out a Wi-Fi beam all the way to the barn. And the reason why Papa wanted to do that is possibly doing live streams of goats and chickens and all kinds of stuff. And but I figured I'd utilize that to try to shoot a live randomly on a Sunday. And like I said, about 10, 15 people showed up at tops. But it was a good opportunity. A lot of people love Lala, and a lot of people love talking to Lala and asking Lala questions. And a lot of the time she can evade you. But if you show up, if you get a notification on the weekdays, and that's why it's kind of important to not only subscribe, but hit the little notification thing, the bell, ring that bell. That way, if you do get a notification, you can then join our live. And Lala is like a endless, I have I'm an endless book of useless knowledge. Papa knows a little about a lot of different things. And then Mom or Lala is just like, I'm telling you, if you ever talk to Lala one-on-one, you better bring a pad and a pen. If you're going to talk to her about goats, because it's unrealistic how much she's learned. I'm not going to learn is like Baker County. I'm sorry, Dad. But it's crazy how much she has learned in the small amount of time that we've been doing goats. And so if you guys thought I heard an echo in the back, but if you guys, if you want to drop in on a Saturday or Sunday, again, ring that bell. That way you guys actually get notified. But drop in. That way you guys can ask Lala, or if it's Papa possibly doing the live, you can ask Papa certain questions. And I won't let them evade you if I'm doing the live stream. I promise. I will ask them the questions and I will bombard them until they give you an answer.
So I've been keeping Randy Smith up because I want to address that comment right there. But Lala's got like two of her biggest groupies in the world in here. So Michael Keener says because she's amazing. Then Michael Harris says she's awesome. Then Michael Keener says, "Yep, a plethora of goat knowledge." Now that plethora, that's like a big word there. So all right. So yeah, she knows her goats. So where'd you take? So Randy Smith, that was in there. So I didn't connect the two. So that is, and I know there was a comment earlier. Randy Smith, who was the.
I did not mean to take that down. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Who was disputing the results of the giveaway? They have a great channel. That is white shoulder boar goats. I think. What was that? Somewhere up there. No, let me find it. White shoulder boar goats. So there is nothing cuter in this entire world. And I think Mulberry Branch Farm would agree with me. And you're going to start seeing them from our place within the next 3 weeks. There's nothing on this planet that is cuter than baby goats. And either in terms of being born, when they're first born, when they're newly born, like the first week, there's just nothing cuter. And they, meaning white shoulders boar goats, have been dropping kids this whole week. So they've got some birthing videos that they put several of them up. So go over there and check them out if you want to see some cuteness overload. We have a few boars at our place. Most of what we have is Kikos and Nigerian dwarfs, but we also have some Nubians, or we have a Nubian, and we have a few boar goats that Madeline uses for show, and then some Kiko boar crosses. But there was we had posted this week that kind of an announcement that we have been invited to go over to the Panhandle of Florida. And we have been invited to be speakers on getting started with goats at the Keepers of the Old Ways Expo over in Blountstown, Florida in January. So we will be speaking at that. And I really had no appreciation for what that was when I was talking to the event coordinator. They said that the one that they did in 2021, they had 800 people there, which is good size, but they are now expecting for this one in January around 5,000 people at that venue. So that will be awesome. So if you are in the South, in Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, anywhere around the Panhandle of Florida, a reasonable commuting distance, then maybe that's something you want to check into. It. They're going to have all kinds of educational sessions, everything from homesteading topics to self-sufficiency topics to topics related to survivalism and prepping and all of that and everything in between. So looks to be a great program. Doug and Stacy have confirmed that they will be there. Some of our good friends that we met over at the Gulf Coast Homesteaders meetup, Hidden Oaks Farm, they're speaking. Dusty Goat Homestead, they are speaking, as is Floribama Homestead. They are also on the venue to be speaking. So it's going to be a great time. We may be taking some of our goats over there, kind of as a show and tell. We're thinking we're probably going to take one of our actually it's Michael Harris's. It's one of Michael Harris's. He's got our doe Stormy now. We've sold Stormy, so Stormy went from Florida to Texas. It's one of Stormy's daughters from last kidding season. We'll probably be taking her over. That's the goat that we refer to as Baby Blue, and then taking our Nubian and probably taking our show boar that's Madeline's goat. So it'll be kind of cool. Emma, it is the Keepers of the Old Ways Expo in Blountstown, Florida. If you go to our Facebook or even our community tab on YouTube, there's a link to it. There's also on our Facebook page. There's a link both on my page, personal page, as well as the La La Farm Facebook page. So That will be, we're looking forward to that, really looking forward to that. So we'll be over there. We're not sure if it will be, hopefully Rick's family is going as well. We're not sure if Lala's going to be going for both days or just one day, because she is just not going to leave her goats. That's right during their kidding season when they start. And she's just not going to leave them. So she'll be over there for the presentation, but there's a good possibility she may drive 3 hours, talk for an hour, and then drive 3 more hours to get back home, so she's not away from her goats for too long. So we'll see how that plays out.
That's a good possibility. That'll be us too. So
yeah, folks, it is 8 o'clock. We are going ahead and sign off. This has been an absolute blast. Emma, I know you're still on here. Thank you so much for popping in and chatting with us. We have really, really enjoyed this. I can't remember who's on for next week, so I apologize for that. I should have known that in advance, but we'll be doing a thumbnail for that, Ricky. We'll get that announcement out and let you all know. So thanks for being in here, everybody. This has been a blast, and good night. Lala, or treat others. Always remember. See, I'm going to box this. Always remember, treat others as you. All right, do it. Do it. Always remember, treat others as you would like to be treated. Lala Farm out.
right, guys.